Dear teaching fraternity of mathematics, warm and heartfelt greetings to all. The torrent of COVID-19 has brought a paradigm shift in education. The teaching community is witnessing the transformation of teaching and learning process to Education 2.0. The integration of digital gadgets, online portals, and software of e-learning has transmitted the classroom to cloud. It is a time for teaching community to get familiarized to this new era of education. The conventional methods of teaching should be hybridized and the faculty members have to update to prevent them from becoming obsolete. Technology empowerment for teaching community is the need of the hour and is the chief responsibility of the educational institution to design such kind of academic programs intending to promote enrichment of teachers becoming technologically friendly. At this right juncture, the Department of Mathematics, Arlanadar College, a Jesuit institution located in Karmathur, Madurai, is organizing a 3-day online faculty development program on appraisal of mathematical learning outcome in cybergogy environment. Together with the resource experts of educational technology, Mr. S. Lenin from Department of Education, Manonmaniam Sudarna University, Tirunelveli, and Dr. P.S. Sridevi, Department of Education, the Gandhigram Rural Institute, Tindikal. This FDP is the exclusive structure in an offline mode for teaching community of mathematics comprising of both college professors and school teachers of mathematics. I wish today's program to benefit the teaching community of mathematics across the nation. Finally, I like to say, technology can never replace the teachers, but replace teachers departed from technology. Let us continue our journey towards Education 2.0. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to all who have joined us through this faculty development program. Myself Prathipa, happy to be a part of this 3 days faculty development program conducted by Department of Mathematics, Arlanadar College. I have a very pleasant duty of introducing our speaker of the day, Dr. Lenin, who is going to brief us on the title Appraisal of Mathematical Learning Outcomes in Cybergogy Environment. Professor Lenin is an assistant professor in the Department of Education, Manonmaniam Sundarnar University. Sir is a well-known expert in the field of educational technology, has given more than 25 invited talks on the title Teaching Learning Methodologies in many colleges and universities. Sir have taken special interest by conducting and coaching the young minds to get through the NETSET examinations. To help the students, Sir has developed NETSET exam materials and also he has organized several seminars, conferences, workshops for the benefit of the students. As the Professor of Education Department, he has guided nearly 10 MET projects. On the other side, Sir has presented 9 papers in national and international level. He has published 6 papers in the national and international journals and 3 conference proceedings. Interestingly, Sir has written 2 books on the title General Perspective of Educational Sociology and An Introduction to General English. He also published few chapters in several books. He is a member in International Multidisciplinary Research Forum. Apart from scholarly work, Sir has served as member in Standing Committee on Academic Affairs, Manonmaniam Sundarnar University, Board of Studies member for some years. He is also served as observer, external examiner, IQAC liaison officer, annual inspection committee member of few affiliated colleges. Sir has received certificate of appreciation for the contribution towards preparing IQA, and he also member in NAC peer team mock visit. On a final note, he is also a fascinating individual, and we are grateful to have such a nice person as a resource person of the day. Without further ado, let me welcome Professor Lenin to this program. Welcome, sir.
Good morning to you all. I am happy to associate myself in this online FDP on appraisal of mathematical learning outcomes in CyberGaji environment. I appreciate the organizing committee members for taking initiation to conduct this program in a very effective way, which is the need of the hour for the society. I am very happy to present myself, my presentation through this CyberGaji environment, and once again I thank the organizing committee members for giving this wonderful opportunity to me. What is CyberGaji? When we are coming across this term, this may be a new word for most of us before this pandemic period. Before this pandemic of COVID-19, this term CyberGaji may be very familiar for the students and stakeholders of Department of Computer Science and Engineering. And apart from the discipline of computer science and engineering disciplines, other disciplines like our own disciplines, we may not be very familiar with this term CyberGaji. But after this pandemic COVID-19, we are coming across this term CyberGaji very frequently, irrespective of teachers and students. We are coming across this term CyberGaji environment. In a traditional classroom also, without with our knowledge, we were in CyberGaji environment most of the time. So when we are coming across this new vocabulary CyberGaji, we may be having lot of doubts. What is this CyberGaji? What it represents? What is the meaning of it? Many doubts may be rising in our mind, but it is a very simple concept. That is, any teaching in a virtual environment is considered to be CyberGaji. In our traditional classroom situation also, most of the time in this 21st century technological era, we used to get involved in the act of teaching and learning in a virtual environment. So CyberGaji cannot be taken away from even our traditional classroom situations. But today, apart from teaching and learning inside the four walls, our society across the globe, we have to be in our own parental houses or in our own residences, and we have to get involved in the act of teaching and learning. So CyberGaji is the virtual environment where teaching is taking place today. And when we are going through pedagogy, any pedagogy cannot be avoided without the intertwine or collision of CyberGaji. All the pedagogy today, we are getting collided, we are getting together with CyberGaji. And regarding the Bloom's taxonomy of educational objectives, in traditional setup or in traditional way, when we are going through, there are three domains. We all are very familiar of which: cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domain. Of which, in cognitive domain, the major components are knowledge, understanding, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. In any teaching setup, knowledge will be provided, and the students will be understanding, and they will be applying the knowledge acquired, and they will be analyzing, synthesizing, and at last evaluation will be taking place. This is common in a traditional setup. But today, during this teaching and learning in CyberGaji environment, these components are having small changes in today's situation. That is, the components according to cognitive domain are remembering, understanding, analyzing, evaluating, and at last creating something new. So the students must remember the concepts what they used to listen or what they used to learn in a CyberGaji environment, and they have to understand it, they have to analyze it, evaluate it, and at last they should create some new knowledge. So creation is the ultimate end process of teaching in a CyberGaji environment. And I have given a simple definition for the term CyberGaji. It is represented as the theory and practice of teaching in virtual worlds. It's nothing but the theory and practice of teaching in virtual worlds. The three important features of virtual worlds are emotive feature, connective feature, and motive feature. These are the three important features of any virtual worlds. So the CyberGaji environment is also having these three features. And the values of CyberGaji. How this CyberGaji is different from the traditional classroom situation or traditional classes. CyberGaji, it enrich and enhance the conventional strategies, especially as similar in traditional classroom, there is a provision for rote learning and also repetitive learning. In traditional classrooms, there may not be much opportunity for having this repetitive learning. But here in a CyberGaji environment, learning takes place through repetition. N number of times the learner can repeatedly listen to the presentation of the presenter, and the learner can understand much through this CyberGaji environment. But in traditional classroom, even if the student is having some doubt, most of the time they won't be in a position to get clear their doubt, and most of the time they don't want the teacher to repeat again what the teacher has presented. That is happening in traditional classroom situation. But here in a CyberGaji environment, there is much provision for repetition on the part of the presenter, and there is provision for rehearsal also. The student can rehearse himself or herself whenever there is a need, and also provision for role play. As in traditional classroom, the student or the learner can involve in role play also and recapitulate. In the traditional classroom, at the end of the presentation, towards the end, the reviewing or recapitulation will be taking place. But here, every now and then, whenever there is a need, the student can recapitulate what he or she has understood or learned. And there is a representation of knowledge what the student or the learner has achieved, and there is also opportunity for reconstructing the knowledge. The existing knowledge can be reconstructed in a CyberGaji environment. So these are certain values of CyberGaji environment, teaching in a CyberGaji environment, and there are certain new aspects of teaching approaches. There are many number of teaching approach, and in a situation of CyberGaji environment, while we are teaching, there is opportunity for exploring the new environment of learning. CyberGaji environment is a new environment of learning for most of the 21st century learners, because we were brought up in the traditional classroom situations. And second one is building in 3D environment. The student get experiences through 3D learning environment, and the changing personal appearance. In a classroom situation of 1 hour or 45 minutes in a traditional classroom situation, there is no opportunity for the teacher or the student to escape himself or herself from the traditional setup. The student needs to listen to the teacher whether he like him or not, or like her or not. It's the fate or it's the destiny of the student to be there inside the classroom and listen to the teacher. There is no opportunity for the change in the personal appearance of the teacher or the student inside the classroom. But in a CyberGaji environment, there is opportunity for changing the personal appearance of the teacher by terms of images or by terms of videos. The teacher can mix all these things and make a presentation so that the monotony of the teacher can be avoided and the students will be understanding the concept with ease and with interest. And the role experimentation, there is opportunity for the experimentation of the role, which is also happening only in Cybergaji environment, and enacting scenes through simulations. In a Cybergaji environment, there is provision for simulations, and scenes can be enacted or pictured through the simulation environment, which will be making the process of teaching and learning more interesting and very much simplified. And teaching in the Cybergaji environment, it can be coined as a teaching model, and there are many number of models, and this can also be included as a teaching model, and it is an engaged learning model. Most of the time we used to say in a traditional classroom situation alone there is engaged learning taking place, but in a Cybergaji environment also engaged learning will be taking place, and it has three major domains, namely cognitive domain, emotive domain, and social domain. So we may argue that engaged learning, already I have said, many may occur only when there is a social presence of the learner. When there is no social presence of the learner, when there is absence of the social presence of the learner, the engaged learning may not be effective. There may be an argument. But today, learning takes place effectively by accomplishing the learning goals by the online presence of the learner. When the learner is fully involved in the online mode, and when he is fully concentrating on the part of the presenter, learning takes place and the learning goals can be accomplished. And the three domains possess the following factors, especially the number one, cognitive factors. It includes the prior knowledge or the prior experience, achievement goals, the learning activity, and cognitive style or learning style. These are the four components of cognitive factors. And regarding emotive factors, it includes the feeling of self, feeling of society or community, feeling of learning atmosphere, and feeling of learning process. These are the four major components of emotive factors. And regarding social factors, it includes the personal attributes of the learner, the context of the learner, and the community of learner, and also communication process involved in the teaching learning process. Number one, cognitive factors. One by one we can see what are the cognitive factors. The prior knowledge or the prior experience of the learner. Prior knowledge is very important when enhancing the learning experience, either it is taking place in a ordinary traditional classroom setup or even in a Cybergaji environment. The previous knowledge of the learner is very, very important while the teacher or the presenter is involved in the act of teaching. When a new curriculum is related to existing knowledge or skills, the learners find it easy to understand. So only educationalists or education psychologists, they used to say any form of teaching or learning should go from simple to complex, or known to unknown, or from general to particular. So when it is happening like this, the act of teaching and learning will be more effective. Hence, in the Cybergaji environment, teaching should go from known to unknown. And second component is achievement goals. The students should be allowed to set their own learning goals. In a Cybergaji environment, the students should be allowed to set their goals so that they will be motivating themselves and encouraging themselves to involve immensely in the process of learning. And there are two types of goals. One is learning goals and another one is performance goals. Learning goals, something it is a short-term goal, and performance goals, it may be long-term goal. Towards the exam point of view, when the student is fixing some goals and learning, that is considered to be the learning goal. And towards the performance, the acquirement of skills, the acquisition of skills which will be helping them in the future, that may be the performance goals. And learning activity, task and assessment, whether it is possible to give some tasks or assessment for the students through cybergogy environment. Yes, there may be a question. In the traditional classroom, we are giving n number of assignments and making our students to perform some tasks and get experienced on that particular topic. And now and then we are assessing them, either in the form of formative evaluation or in form of summative evaluation. We are evaluating or assessing our students. Both these tasks and assessment are possible even in cybergogy environment. So it involves an authentic task, a project or investigation, and then the teacher will be observing or interviewing and examining their presentations. That thereby the student will be getting, the teacher will be getting a full detailed level of understanding of his or her student. And regarding the fourth component, that is cognitive style or learning style, there are 4 types of styles. One is pragmatic style, that is pragmatism. We know what is pragmatism: learning by doing, activity oriented learning, experimental learning. So the pragmatic style, it depends on the active experimentation. The student can experiment the theory what he or she is learning through cybergogy environment and thereby acquire some knowledge. And the second one is reflector type of style. Depends upon the reflective observation and has great advantage in imaginative abilities and awareness of meaning of values. So observing and reflecting. We know the theory of observation. Powerful way of learning. Observing the things and reflecting or learning. That is reflector type of style. Third one is theorist style. Depends upon the inductive reasoning. That is exacting theoretical models. So inductive reasoning, we know arriving a solution from a particular concept to a general concept. That is inductive reasoning. So theorist style of learning takes place with inductive reasoning. And the fourth style is activist learning style. It has a great advantage in doing things, implementing plans and engaging in new tasks. So this activist style of learning, most of the time it will be taking place by some activities, some works, some tasks, performing some tasks. That is activist learning style. And the second factor is emotive factor. Emotions and imagination plays a very prominent role in any meaning construction, irrespective of the age or sex or level of the learner. Mankind is very familiar and very much intertwined with emotions and imagination. No other animals in this world can imagine, I think. Human beings are very fortunate to have their emotions and imagination, which plays a very prominent role in adults' meaning construction. And the components are the feelings of self. When the student is learning, he or she must have some self-confidence and self-competence and self-efficacy. Whether in the cybergogy environment, whether I can understand concepts, whether I can learn, such questions will be arising in the minds of the learner. So it is very important for the teacher to provide self-confidence for the students while he or she is involved in the act of online communication. And the self-competence of the learner and the self-efficacy are also playing a very prominent role in cybergogy environment. This helps them to learn in their own pace. In traditional environment, the student, either he may be a dull student or an extraordinary student or an average student, everyone has to travel in the same pace. But here, in cybergogy environment, the learner can travel in his or her own pace of learning. and feelings of interpersonal connections and community. The learner needs to feel good about their social world. In the classroom condition or in a traditional situation, the student may be getting opportunity to get involved along with a peer group or set of students, either of 40 or 50 or 60 will be there, and there is much opportunity for the student to get socialized among them. But in a cybergaji environment, the technology mediated learning situations are most of the time they are involved in technology mediated learning situations. So there may be less opportunity for socialization, but when they are enthusiastic and energetic to have socialization among themselves, there is opportunity even in this cybergaji learning environment. And the third one is feeling of learning process. The students often experience frustration, isolation, anxiety, and confusion in cybergaji environment due to the communication breakdowns and when there is a technical difficulty. Even in the classroom traditional setup, we used to come across students often experiencing all these emotional mood swingers. But there is much opportunity for them to face all these struggles in cybergaji environment. So effective facilitation in cognitive and social domains is very important so that the students can overcome the struggles in terms of these emotional feelings. And the next factor is social factor. It is the interaction with self and others, interaction between the individual and the peer group. Certain attributes or certain components are there. One is personal attributes. The age and gender. Based on the age and gender, the presenter should present the content with the students. And language, culture, media, and literacy abilities. All these are the personal attributes which plays a very prominent role in the act of teaching and learning in a cybergaji environment. And learner's socio-cultural context, the goals he or she is having, the motives, expectations, and values, all these are having their role in teaching in this environment. And the community, that is establishing a group identity, trust on the part of the student and the teacher, interaction between the teacher and the student, and also the construction of knowledge in the particular society. All these are also part of this teaching in cybergaji environment. And also communication. The group size is very important. When the group size is more than 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000, the teacher should have some proper techniques to manage the group, interact with all the participants of the group. When it is very small, 40 or 20, it is very easy for the teacher to have one-to-one communication. But when the group is large, it is very tough for the teacher or the presenter to manage in the cybergaji environment. And the discussion context required software and group moderation. All these helps for team building, team maintenance, and performing a team. In general, how this cybergaji is helping in teaching environment, how it can be taught. There are n number of ways through which teaching is taking place in cybergaji environment, especially in by using email, by online conferencing, by web databases, audio video conferencing, etc. All these modes helps the teacher to involve in the act of teaching in a cybergaji environment. And how to detect the students' emotional problems or emotional cost while involved in cybergaji environment. So even in our traditional classroom, we used to come across all these emotional factors, especially smile, bored, shocked, confused, dazed, ironic, furious, very sad, laughter, indifferent, etc. Many forms of emotional imbalances we can come across in our traditional classroom. Similarly, in a cybergaji environment also, the teacher can come across all these emotional factors. Some students may be smiling, some students feel bored, when they feel bored, the teacher needs to change the activity, or the teacher must make the student to be involved in the classroom. At times the student feels shocked when there is some technical problems, or when he or she is not connected with the teacher. Automatically the student feel confused or dazed, and he or she will be in an ironic stage, and at times he will be feeling very furious, very sad, and at times laughter, etc. Even in the physical presence of the teacher can see some students behaving indifferently. So in cybergaji environment also we can see students in an indifferent mode. So the teacher needs to manage all these emotional imbalances while handling a topic through the cybergaji environment. And how to facilitate this cybergaji environment communication or online communication? How to facilitate? Certain tips are there. Clearly state the purpose of the particular discussion. Why? What is the need for this discussion? What is the need for presenting this topic with the audience today? That aim or objective or the goals should be clearly pointed out or clearly stated by the presenter. And establish a style of writing and convention. While presenting in a cybergaji environment, it's very important for a particular presenter to have a unique style of writing, unique style of presenting, so that it will be helping the audience to develop the art of writing. And link online discussion to assessment. There must be some connection with the particular day's presentation and the assessment, or at the end product, what we expect. So there must be some link with the presentation so that it will be more effective. And use concise and clear language. Very simple language should be used by the presenter. We should not show our expertise on that particular juncture. We have to understand who is our audience, who is our students, and based on their level, the teacher has to come ground to earth and use the concise and clear language so that the presentation will be more effective. And keep the posts short and right to the point. Pinpointed points should be posted to the students. The post should be very short so that ordinary dull student can also understand what the post carries, what is the meaning of that post. So keep the post short and right to the point, that is pinpointed post should be portrayed. And provide feedback to all participants to summarize the discussion. Proper feedback should be given to all the participants at the end of the discussion. Don't omit or don't neglect any of the participants. Every participants are unique. Every participants are very important. So even if the group is more than 100, all the participants should be given proper feedback. To conclude, for making the teaching in the cybergaji environment more effective, it's very important for us to intertwine all the factors that we have gone through, irrespective of cognitive, emotive, and social factors. When all these three factors, the components of all these three factors are going together, are coinciding together, and when it is there in our presentation, that teaching can be effective in the cybergaji environment. Not only that, for online learning experience to be successful, students must have sufficient prior knowledge. Already I have said this in the cognitive factors. Prior knowledge is very important, and motivate the students to learn, and the students should have a very positive energy to learn things, and they must have some positive attitude on learning in the cybergaji environment. So it's the duty of the teacher to motivate them and imbibe in them to develop this positive attitude to learn through this cybergaji environment. And they must also feel comfortable with the learning environment with commitment. In traditional classroom also, we can see students learning with commitment. The same experience should be expected from the students while learning in a cybergaji environment. So the students should be committed to the presentation and towards learning process. And the instructors should also be sensitive in students' emotional state. The presenter should be very much concerned about the student's emotional stage, so that the students will be making use of the time and making use of the presenters knowledge very effectively. When there is some emotional imbalances, the teacher should try, or the presenter should try to manage or overcome the emotional imbalances of the students. Thus, when all these factors are combined or intertwined together in the act of teaching in a cybergaji environment during this pandemic period, such teaching learning process can be very effective and the environment can be very conducive for the act of teaching and learning. So once again, with this I conclude my presentation and I thank the
Hello everybody. I'm happy to welcome you all to this video lecture on mathematical teaching and learning in cyberspace. So look at this classroom setup. So we see a mathematics teacher teaching on the board. So here, that's a general saying for the mathematics teacher. So whenever the mathematics teacher begins to teach, so they need a board. So without the board, they are actually helpless. And of course, they are not having any sort of mechanism to handle the classes without the blackboard. So automatically, before we start again classes, we give some introduction. Then automatically we move on to the board and we start writing or drawing a diagram or a figure and with the illustration. So without the blackboard, it is too tough for the mathematics teacher to take a class. So that is true because we have been trained and tuned like that. So now it is a classroom setup we have. But now after this pandemic outbreak, now we are going to the cloud setup. So the blackboard, it is going to change with a broadband, I can say. So we are not going to handle the classes in a cyberspace. So when in online platforms, so we are not going to use the directly having a board and we're not going to take the class. It is not possible also. So we are going to make use of some online platforms and we are going to find our own space in a cyberspace, whichever is feasible for us. And then we are going to take a class. Of course, I do accept it. The online teaching has lots and lots of challenges, but still walk through. See, a teacher must be basically very flexible to all the kinds of teaching environment. So we must be able to handle the class in a very direct way, having a direct interaction with the students. But now when the trend is being changed into the cybergogy, so it is a way of online engaged learning. A teacher must also able to learn these basic tactics of teaching and learning in an online environment. So we are not going to bring a lot of change in that, but suppose when this is going to be the change, when we are going to use the technology and we are going to teach the students, then of course the teacher must be able to update. So as mathematics professors, we must able to acquire the skill of teaching both in offline, I can say, and online environment. So whether you are going to have a direct contact or whether you are going to engage them in an online platform. So we are supposed and we are in an era of information and technology and we must update and tune ourselves to the new methods of teaching. And we are going to go for an online teaching. So everybody were having a thing that online teachings are not that much effective and the students are not able to understand and we are not able to capture the realm of it. So we are only going for the shadows, not the reality. So many things are there. But still, we are in a position to unlock learning during this lockdown period. So that's the ultimate aim why the Indian government is encouraging, especially the MHRD also. They are always going for online platforms and they are also having a supportive thing to encourage this online learning because they don't want to unlock the learning process. So here, when I'm going to off the online teaching, I go have two methods, synchronous and asynchronous method. So I have to know what is synchronous and asynchronous. So what do you mean by the synchronous mode of teaching? So here, you have a real-time interaction between teachers and learners. So you are well versed with this Google Meet, Zoom, GoToWebinar, and Examiner, because these are going to be the buzzwords, and still they are the buzzwords during this lockdown period. So we might have attended a number of webinars during this platform. So now the speaker will be there and we are the participants. So we have the real-time interaction with the teachers as well as the learners. This is what we call as the synchronous mode of teaching. So many of the engineering professors, they are bound to take the online classes during this period. So I think through the Google Meet or through Zoom or through what platform, so whenever you have an interaction, a real-time interaction, you call that mode as synchronous. And what is asynchronous? So it is just an opposite for synchronous. There is no real-time interaction between the teachers and learners. So now what we are doing is actually an asynchronous mode. No, now we are listening to the video lecture of mine, and there is no interaction between you and me. And this is an online platform also, you are seeing it. So you are viewing in a video like this. So the examples are like online channels. We go with this YM. We have the recorded video lectures, and we go with those lectures and we acquire the knowledge. And we always go with the rewinding. We pass it. We are able to visualize. We are able to understand. So this is about the asynchronous mode of teaching. And another classroom approach is, what I want to tell is, a flipped classroom approach. See, a flipped class is nothing but a view image is one that inverts the typical cycle of content acquisition and application. So that the students will be gaining a good knowledge before the class, and instructors guide the students to active and interactive or clarify, apply the acquired knowledge. So you may wonder why suddenly the flipped classroom approach. So let me tell the advantages of it. Okay, a learner will be able to acquire a deeper knowledge, an interaction, or feedback, or active participation. Fine. So now, let me ask you a question here. Or just you imagine yourself or think for yourself. Suppose you are going to take a particular class and in an online platform. So your management have instructed you to go with a Google Meet and a G Suite, and you are going to call the students by using a Google Meet over there, and then you are going to handle a class. So there are practical difficulties out there. The very first one is the internet connectivity. And now you may feel that how to take the particular new concept to the students, whether they'll be able to understand that or not. And suppose we'll be also having an external environment influence also. We're not sure that whether we'll be able to make the students acquire the knowledge during that particular duration of the scheduled Google Meet or not. So if you are going to prepare a small video lecture on it, or a small PPT or with some material, so that the students will be able to have some knowledge on it, and the day when they're coming for the class, it may not appear very new to them. So you are familiarizing the topic. So maybe for everybody. So for all levels of students, it works. The bright, with the one strike of the video, able to understand everything. The mediocre, no, they'll be able to go with the 2 times. And the low level learner, no, they go with more than twice or thrice until he able to understand the basics of it. So now this is the way you can carry out the flipped classroom approach even in an online environment also. You can do it. Then not going to have a direct contact with the students, but still you're going to go with them in an online platform, in an online environment. Even also you can carry out this approach. So steps in integrated online mode of teaching. So what do I mean for an integrated online mode of teaching? So I said that we have 2 modes of teaching, like synchronous and asynchronous. So when I say integrated, you are going to use synchronous and asynchronous. See, there are difficulties are there. Every time we may not call the students for a Google Meet and you go for a class, and every time you cannot send a recorded video for them, not knowing whether they are going to have a better understanding, not able to hear even what do they express. Simply collecting a written feedback, and it doesn't work much, no. When you go with the real-time interaction, that seems to be little effective for them. And when they communicate with you and able to share their ideas and clarify their doubts, so fine. That is also seems to be little better. So now what shall I do? So now I am going to take a particular unit in an online mode of teaching. So let us imagine like that. The very first step is fragmentation of the unit into simple sections. So you better fragment it. You divide the unit into simple sections, and you're going to decide what are the units you can teach in synchronous mode and what are the units that you are going to teach in asynchronous mode. And now another one is you're going to prepare the slides for each section. So the slides you are going to retain for the synchronous, and you convert the slides into the video lectures for the asynchronous. You make it simple, okay? And there are so many online tools are available to add glow to your lectures, to add glow to your slides, and to make it more attractive and interactive. That's very important. And simultaneous assessment you are supposed to make along with the feedback. So these are the very simple steps you can do it in integrated online mode of teaching. So first of all, you must have a thought, a conceptualization that this is very easy to do it. This is very simple to execute it. This is very easy to design it. So now I'll go with this one. I take the very basic paper here, that is the course, Analytical Geometry of 3D and Vector Calculus. So generally this particular sphere, when you go with the Stokes, you have its own application in the engineering sector also. So you deal with the mathematics too, and you have all these Green, Gauss and Stokes, fine, you have it. And these are also very particular and very important. Let me take out the very first unit. So what is your first unit? So you are going to introduce something about the plane, how to find the angle between the two planes and all those things. So yes, my unit 1, the total hours invested is 17 hours. Okay, but in the online mode, if you're going to do it, do you think that you require 17 hours? Because practically, when I take the class, I want to make the students to copy down, I have to go around, I have to check, I want to wait. But in online engaged way, there is no need for it. So we are going to give the material them, and we are going to share our resources with them. So no problem. So we are going to stay connected. So we are just going to give them everything, all the backup and all the support. So now the entire unit, I have just put into small sections, because the very first step is I am just going to divide or fragment the entire unit into simple sections. So now you are going to decide which all you are going to go with the synchronous and which all you are going with the asynchronous. So you can beautifully design it, and I have decided like this. It depends. So when you take up the class, according to your own will and wish, according to your perception, according to your outlook, you will be deciding in your own way. So now what I will do, so it's the very first time I'm just going to begin this particular course. So simply directly I cannot go for the planes. So now I have to give them an overall introduction about this particular course. So about the entire course structure. So I can prepare a video lecture. Maybe I'm just saying the maximum duration, I'm telling you 10 minutes. So maybe for each unit, if you are allotting just 2 minutes, so 5 into 10, so you will be getting it. And in that time itself, you can tell what is your objectives and what is your outcome of this particular course. It is very, very important, because this course objectives and course outcomes, it is not for the teachers. It is for both the teachers and the student community, because the student must be able to know what are the learning outcomes, what are the objectives of this particular course. And in many of the particular outcome-based syllabus, people start with the learning outcomes. So that is also very, very fine. But then if you have an objective, it gives you the direction and a channel to go ahead. So you be precise in preparing a video lecture, and what are the applications of the concept in real life. So what is the second thing I can do with? The second one is the introduction to planes. So here I have a duration of 10 minutes, okay? So I will make them with a definition of plane, and I like to make them a visualization of plane in 3 dimensions. So how will it be there? And now I have to decide whether I go with the synchronous or asynchronous, because it is the introduction to planes. So it depends whether you go with. So I decided, okay, I go with the very first one in asynchronous, because it is a video lecture of all the units. So I can give them the content for each and every one. So introduction to planes. For 10 minutes, no, I cannot call for a group and I can do it. Maybe I feel that I can go with this asynchronous mode. So now, no, the students will have an idea about the planes and overall idea about the structure. So it is easy for them. Now, I go with the next one, a various equation of planes. So now I have divided the entire section into 40 minutes of lecture and then a 60 minutes of lecture. It depends. So I'm just telling what I have done. So here we have so many concepts. Now I want to introduce them about the general equation of plane and what are the different forms of equation of plane, that is the normal form, and I'll go with the intercept form. Then I have to go with the visualization of the each form of the plane. And even for deriving the equation of the plane, I have to tell them something about the direction ratios and direction cosines. So these are the very basic common terms I need to have. So what shall I do? So I can just give them a better description about direction ratios, direction cosines, because they are going to play a vital role over there. And then you can also go with a general introduction about the plane equation. What do you mean by a normal form? What do you mean by intercept form? Because they will not be aware of all those things. So you can go with the basics. So you can prepare a session on it. And then this you can go with the synchronous, because once you go with this synchronous, no, because two particular video lectures, they have been listened by them. So they'll be having a better understanding about what the plane is. And now you prepare a 40 minutes or you go for a 60 minutes. So 60 minutes, they allocated 20 minutes each for each equation of the plane or normal form or intercept form, or you go with 25 minutes and then you go over a 30 minutes or then you go with the 40 minutes. So it depends on you, because you know your learners. You know your learners' nature, about their level of capacity, about their level of interest, so about their level of knowledge. So you know it very well. So you can able to assess, and based on that, how do they prefer? So you can get their feedback then and there. And then suppose you have completed this one. So what you'll do with? You just go with a simple assessment. You just go with a Google form. You just prepare an online quiz and you get the response. So that is very simple. Now you may ask also a question. Okay, fine. The students will be able to get the answer from one another and go ahead with that. So you make it as an open quiz. So let them learn. We go for an open book system, no? So that we are not having, still we are not exposed to a proper system of assessment in this online platform. So that's one of the still an existing drawback is there. Suppose we are going to attend this NPTEL or SWAYAM examinations, they build a particular app will be there where no browsers you can be activated in the system. So one of the questions will be displayed and at the end of the time, the thing goes off. So this is the way, but still so much of very strict implementation is not there. So never mind, you make them as an open quiz. Don't burden them with so many questions. You give them very simple questions then and there. Then you go with an interaction with them. And when you're going have a synchronous, you call one or two names and ask them to give their answer. You come with a discussion, you go with the feedback, and there you must have an organized way. So administration in online classroom also is very essential. We cannot allow everybody to talk and we'll go with that. So you mute everyone, whoever you want to ask a question, you just unmute them at that particular point, get their views, and then remaining you can mute it and you can go it very genuinely and also without any chaos. That is very much important. And simply it is not our normal class, no, we cannot allow everybody to answer it. So you give the options with them and you must have an efficient in handling the particular online platform what you are using for teaching. Whether you are using a Google Meet or whether using a Zoom, it doesn't matter, or whether you are going to go with any other options, see to that you always get trained well in that particular one. So the next one is an angle between the two planes. So I can provide them a lot of figure. Then I can able to give them the equation, how the figure will be there for various values, how it get changes. So we can go with the SageMath, and there are so many applications are there. See, now people are getting knowing the terms. People know what is a Google Classroom is all about, what is a Google Form, how to design and all those things. But now the most important part, what I personally feel is how to structure them, how to structure each unit, how to put them into a way, what are the things you are going to do. That planning phase is very important. So we are now aware of so many online tools and things, but the thing is how you are going to implement it. That is very, very important. So again, I can go with the visualization, the formula, you go with the problems with a stepwise explanation. And now you go with an online quiz, an online assignment on practice problems. So we are not going to handle all the problems over there. So some problems we give them for a practice. So it depends. We are going to monitor then and there, ask them to submit it. It is a bit difficult task only, but still with the regular monitoring and with the regular feedback, this is also quite possible. The next one is you're going to deal with the equation of the plane through line of intersection of two planes. So it depends whether you go with the synchronous or asynchronous, how you are going to assess and what type of assignments you are going to give them. So it all depends, and you can design your own course like this. So again, the length of perpendicular is there. So I have just allotted a 10 minutes and I'm going to give another video lecture for a maximum of 45 minutes. But not exactly 40 minutes. The extent is okay. I can go with 30 minutes or go with 35 minutes. But since your video lectures, if you're preparing, see to that it is more interactive, see to that it's more interesting, and it's not going to be a repetition because people will just forward and move off. So to avoid all those things, make your video lectures be more precise and accurate in that. So I go with the same thing. So I don't find any other options is better than with an online quiz or with an online assignment. But I do for each section. I take a class and then I give them a link to go with the quiz. So what do they understand with that? So I can able to also get to know how many are they able to give the answer to this. So you twist your question. Some questions a little bit direct. Some questions a little bit make them a little distinct over there. So this is a way how you can structure a particular unit into so many sections, and you can go with how you are going to do it. So I go with the next sequence and series is there. So now these are the topics for the very first unit. So now I go with that. So now I'm going to check whether the topic is there, how many duration I'm going to allot for each particular one, and whether I go with a synchronous or asynchronous. So this we are going to decide it. So it depends. So some people may like to go with a lot of interactive part with the sequences. So some you can prepare individual video lectures, or you can handle each class in a synchronous mode. So lots and lots of examples you can give them, and you can do wonders with your online teaching, I can say. Okay, how you'll do wonders? So you'll do wonders with the online tools for teaching and assessment. So the Testmos and Socrative are something for your assessment. Edmodo, Edpuzzle, Project and ThinkLink, TED, and so many things are there. Nearly we have in plenty of online tools are available for making your teaching and assessment in online platform more effective. So I've just given the links, especially for the school teacher students are there, online teaching tools are there, and you can do a lot of wonders with these online tools. And now the most important part. So now we are on a verge. Suppose if NAC is coming for an accreditation, they ask how many e-content you have. So now what we have done so far is a part of the e-content. The e-content is called as electronic content. It includes the text, image, graphics, animation, audio, and video. Sometimes it is a single element carrying any one of the above element or all of the above together. So now you are having an image, you have a text, you have graphics, you do a lot of animation with your PPT, you have an audio and you have a video. And now what you have prepared, it's an e-content. But still, we cannot say that it is a pakka, but still it is a kind of e-content. But how to make it more apt? The very first one is, that's what I say, you set the clear goals, the capture, what you are going to do. You develop a design. So you go with the conceptualizations. So create your own content. So in sequence is there, okay, when you're going to go with analytical geometry, so what you are going to present it. what type of problems you are going to take. So how you are going to make another different problem and how you are going to explain with the different situations. You analyze about their feedback and you just go with iterations. You repeat it again. After your feedback, what are the ways you can improve, you can go ahead. And you can just, this is what we call it as in cultivate. So capture, conceptualize, and create and cultivate. So these are the various things I can say that how to make your mathematical teaching and learning in online environment. So getting knowing about the online tools is one part, but what you are going to use it is actually the another important part. So now we have been in another platform like this. So this is the Google Docs, would we know it? And now even though we need not go for the typing, we can just speak and it will automatically type the Google Docs. That is one of the advantage here. So now we go for the tools. You go with the voice typing and you click here to speak. And now, okay, now whatever I speak, no, it comes. Find the equation of the plane. It goes the plane. Now sometimes this is a problem, no? Plane passing through the origin. Okay. So now even instead of typing, I'm not type find the equation, but some words, no, maybe what we hear, we don't do it. So it comes automatically. So I can just select it, I can just copy it and I can paste it wherever I want. So this is one of the easier way you can do it instead of simply typing, no. So whichever you want to type and we can go ahead with that. So this is one of the ways how you can use the Google Docs. So we need not go something beyond the things. So whichever is very feasible for us, we can do it. And one more thing I like to just tell you, how to insert a particular equation in a Google form, because that is, seems to be little difficult for many of us because we not know how to use it, but still many of us knows it, but still for some we'll see how to do it, but it is also very easy for us. So you go ahead with the add-on in the Google Docs here. You have this auto latex equations. If you are not having it, you can go with the get add-on, and in get add-on this is available, you can take it. You go with the start, and here you go with the course here. And now I just want to type this equation. So what do I want to type? Maybe I'll go with the interceptive form of equation, no? So we'll go with so x by a plus, I go with again so y by b so we'll go with z by c equal to 1. Simply I want to find these equations. Now I want to ask them which of the following is actually the interceptive form of equation. This is my question. So first option we're giving that x by a plus y by b plus z by c equal to 1. This is my first option is there. And now this is the form. So you go with this quiz here. I'm just asking here. Which of the following is the interceptive form of equation of plane? Okay, this is my question here. And now I want to introduce the options. So I'm not sure which is the equation of here. So now what do I do is, here you have this URL. We have so many options, HTML, all these things. I go with the URL. I just copy this one. I go with the Google form here. And now I just go with an image. So I go with by URL. I place the URL here. And I insert the image here. Okay. So I go with the another option. So I go with another form like this. So I go like this. I go with A by X. Okay. Because it gives the entire one. We'll move on like this. So I give this way. This is going to be A by X. So plus, I'll go with B by Y. I go with C by Z. So equal to 0. Suppose I'm going to give like this because I have to give 4 options. And now what I'm going to do is, so I'm just going to copy this one. Similarly, I have to go with this one. So let me just check what happens in the preview here. So whether you're going to have with your option 1 or with your option 2, I'm not sure of it. So this is the way how you can just go with the insertion of your equations in the Google Forms. So this is pretty easy for us, no? So in your Google Docs, you can just give your voice and maximum you can avoid the typing and you can insert the equations in a very simple manner. So this is the way you are going to carry out an online environment. Make it very simple. So you just design it whether you're going to go for a synchronous or asynchronous mode. So now in this video lecture, what I like to just to say as a result is the final one is we teachers must to enable ourselves updated. We have to utilize all the opportunities and enhance the online teaching. And we should also possess the skills of teaching in online environment. So make your content, design your content more effectively. And use some of the software tools. Doesn't mean that you want to use all the online tools and make it more things. So suppose if I'm using a Google form for my assessment, like a quiz, I'm assigning it, and you can go for a test moves, you can go for Socrative. All are very easy to do it. So in each unit, instead of always giving an online quiz in Google form, you go one with the test moves and you can go one with the Socrative, and you can make it more effective, and also Kahoot you can make it more interactive also. So this is the way how you can just go ahead with the mathematical teaching and learning in cyberspace. Thank you.